Hello, welcome to 1000 Words, Stories on the Way. My name is Matthew Clark. Wow, folks, I have not been able to keep up with the podcast this season. I apologize. There were so many moving parts to Book 2 and Album 2 of the Well trilogy this winter and spring that it kind of took all I had to get A Tale of Two Trees across the finish line. So unfortunately, I didn't have much energy left to make these episodes here. However, now that the new album and book are out in the world, I'm really excited to introduce you to the essayists who wrote chapters for the book. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 11 weeks. Each week, I'll introduce the essayist, I'll share an excerpt from their chapter, and then at the end of each episode, I'll play the song that they chose from the album. The book and the album have the same name, A Tale of Two Trees, and you can get the book on Amazon, and the music is already online wherever you stream music, on Spotify or Amazon or Apple or on my YouTube channel. It's actually even on my website if you go to the store. I really hope that you love the songs on A Tale of Two Trees. I hope you love the book. And if you do, I would love to come sing songs. Sing these songs in your church or in your living room this fall. I'll be traveling around the country playing house concerts in September, October, and November. And if you'd like to host a house concert or a church concert, it's actually really easy to do. You can get all the information on my website. Just visit matthewclark.net/houseconcerts. You can email me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and we can explore concert options. I would love to sing these songs in your home for you and your friends. And don't worry if you feel like you don't know how to host a house concert, or like your house isn't good enough, or you've never done anything like this. Don't worry about that stuff. If you've ever had folks over to watch a movie at your house, you've already got all the expertise that you need to host a house concert. It really is easy. So get in touch if you want to host one this fall. All right, without further ado, let me introduce you to the first essayist for A Tale of Two Trees, Emily Verdoorn. Emily chose the first song on the album called You Belong, and she wrote this beautiful essay about thirst and displacement in response to the song. So you'll get to hear Emily read a little bit of that essay in just a moment. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Emily. Emily Verdoorn is a mixed media artist from Des Moines, Iowa. She says, for as long as she can remember, she has loved drawing and making things. What was unselfconscious play as a child grew into a way of paying attention, to more deeply press into the life of the world around her, to grow in affection, to be awake to the world, a world that is charged with the presence of Christ. Emily received her BFA at Belhaven University in Jackson, Mississippi. She spent some time participating in various international communities and ministries like L'Abri. Actually, I think she's at a L'Abri in England right now. Brazos Fellows, Summit Ministries, and all of these have informed her work. Speaking of her work, you can find her amazing visual art, and you can learn about her process online at emilyverdoornstudio.com, and on Instagram, Emily Verdoorn Studio. Verdoorn is spelled Verdoorn, Emily Verdoorn. I've known Emily for several years. We've both been involved in the Anselm Society in Colorado Springs, where Emily's amazing and intricate artwork has been a part of the Imagination Redeemed Conference, part of the art gallery at the conference several times. She also studied at Belhaven University, which is right down the road from where I live now, so that's pretty fun. But it was actually at one of those Anselm Society conferences that it first occurred to me to invite Emily to write for A Tale of Two Trees. I was in the gallery. I was looking at her mixed media pieces, and I was just reading those little description cards, that are like beside the picture. And I was so struck by the beauty and the thoughtfulness of the writing just on that little description card. And it also seemed that she was already writing to the themes of this project, just from her own personal experience and creative process. So it just seemed obvious to ask if she would be willing to be a part of this, and I'm so glad she agreed. Her essay is really, really wonderful. The song she chose is called You Belong. And in the sequence of the Well trilogy, it's the first song on the second album. The first album, Only the Lover Sings, is about meeting Jesus alongside the woman at the well and being surprised to find that a new life really is possible in Christ. Now this second album is about what happens next, which is that once the, quote, honeymoon wears off, life can get really hard, and it becomes about faith-keeping. Sometimes we wonder if that meeting at the well in Samaria was just something we imagined, now that life seems so dry. Do we really belong? Or did we do something wrong and Jesus has, changed his mind? So album 2 begins with this assurance that Jesus has not changed his mind, that trouble comes and drought comes, but that's normal. The truth of our belovedness that Jesus told us by Jacob's well is still just as true, just as reliable as it ever was. So a special thanks to this week's essayist, Emily Verdoorn. Please check out her website, follow her on Instagram. She really is one of my favorite visual artists, and a generous, gentle, wise soul to boot. So if you don't already know her work, don't wait any longer to check it out. Meanwhile, here is Emily with an excerpt from her essay response to the song You Belong, entitled Rain.
In my native Midwest, fall comes first with the smell of rain. Yes, there are clear, crisp days where the blue sky sings a piercing and impossible song, but beckoning these autumnal days forward is a deeper smell. Regular rain fronts signal the air to become crisp and cool. They are a signal to me as well. The squinting brightness of August, the tense sound of the air conditioner, the sticky heat will soon let up. With the first pat-pat of rain, I can feel my shoulders rest, my forehead unclench. That little irksome headache I didn't consciously recognize lifts. Late September and early October in central Texas are very different than my hometown autumn. To a native Texan and to many wholehearted lovers of sunshine, I do not doubt that these months have their late summer graces. But for me, as the days and weeks stretched on with no hint of rain, the feeling of desert grew heavy. Words from T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland rattled around in my head. Here there is no water, only rock, rock, and no water. What the Thunder Said, lines 11 through 12. I felt like moss, displaced and dry, straining toward the scent of rain, as Robin Wall Kimmerer describes it in her book, Gathering Moss. I found myself yearning for the smell of rain, for the relief that rain brings on a hot and heavy day. Day by day, October rounded into November without the scent of rain. The sun pressed down on tired, baked sidewalks, which glared back its brightness. I continued doggedly through the days, teaching at school, reading for my fellowship classes, and longing for rain. Late one evening in November, the air grew electric and bristled with the tenseness of lightning before a storm. Working at our dining room table, I heard the sound of distant thunder. I started up to peer out of the small kitchen window into the lamplit apartment parking lot, in time to see faraway lightning deep in the night sky. As the air pressure rose, I seemed to hold my breath in anticipation of the pat-pat upon the roof. All my senses poised in readiness for the tense air to open up into droplets of rain. I waited, and the rain did not come. Rain did not come now, nor would it for many weeks yet. I returned restlessly to my seat at the table to tackle more work for the evening. I hadn't known how much changing seasons mattered to me until I felt like a stranger in this desert landscape, searching for a kind of belonging as I waited for the rain. But this time felt so sharp to me because it echoed a thirst in my own heart. It was a long and lonely thirst, a thirst that had begun some time ago. This thirst had prompted my move to Texas to participate in a fellowship involving formational spiritual practices, life together, and day-to-day life deep in participation with the local church. God felt distant and harsh, glaring like the sun, washing out the colors of green grass, fading the paint on buildings. I thirsted for living water, longed to feel the gentle presence of God. But day after day the rain did not come. Had I been forgotten? I think of my own particular thirst for God's presence, but I also know it is a common experience in the Christian walk. It is a difficult place to be because it is a long and unfulfilled longing in which we wait. The longing to be seen, recognized, known, and loved. Loved in spite of ourselves, and what is more, loved because of ourselves. Yes, there are formational practices that make us receptive to the presence of God, yet we cannot manufacture closeness. It is a difficult and frustrating in-between place. It is not a walking away from God, nor a distant numbness. It is an active and sometimes exhausting and seeming unfruitful search. God will answer, and yet the wait is long, years perhaps, and that is hard. What do I do when, though I earnestly seek and pray, the rain still does not come, and God's presence seems as far away as distant lightning in the night?
Thank you so much, Emily, for that beautiful reading. And now to close us out this week, here is the first song on the new album, A Tale of Two Trees, called You Belong.
Wait, before you give up. Breathe, and remember what's true. When you feel like you're a stranger and you can't find a friend, well, you belong to someone who loves you. You belong to someone who loves you. You belong, you were made to belong to someone who loves you. Clouds will not part, and most days there's a fog on your heart, but you've been around enough to know the daylight will come. You belong to someone who loves you. You belong to someone who loves you. You belong, you were made to belong to someone who's written your name on his hands, to someone who's laid down his life it is. Hope tends to slip through your fist, but the truth is the truth, though the whole world tells lies. You belong to someone who loves you. You belong to someone who loves you. You belong, you belong. You were made to belong to someone who loves you. You belong to someone who loves you. You belong, you belong. You were made to belong to someone who loves you. To someone who loves you.
All right, friends, check out Emily Verdoorn's website, emilyverdornstudio.com. Follow her on Instagram at Emily Verdoorn Studio, and get over to my website shop or to Amazon to get a copy of A Tale of Two Trees so you can read the rest of Emily's essay, along with 10 other essays and even more in the book. Next week, we'll have Heidi White with us, who wrote an essay for the title track of the album. But until then, thanks so much for listening. And if you do read the book, would you take a minute to review it on Amazon? That's such a huge help. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week on 1000 Words.